Last September, I launched a campaign at the UN in New York called HeForShe, which is about men coming in support of women and women supporting men to achieve gender equality. I want to get this conversation or this dialogue happening specifically within the fashion industry to ask the leading voices about gender equality. Are you a feminist?
100% feminist.
I'm a humanist. I think that covers the whole thing.
The idea that men and women should be on every level treated equally. So in that sense, yes.
What are the biggest challenges facing women in fashion today?
It's not only our industry, it's every industry, but there's a massive issue with women not having equality.
The real thing about equality between men and women is about fair pay, is about equal pay.
We need to allow for both maternity and paternity leave.
I think there should be better maternity leave for men as well as women, and that would make it less of a thing that you do as a woman because somehow women really aren't serious about their work, which is an incredibly unfair and warped approach.
What part can the fashion industry play in addressing gender inequality?
It's very easy to slip into the mindset where you feel like you're working in a very liberal environment where men and women are treated equally, where there doesn't seem to be any gender preferential treatment. So it's easy to kind of neglect, I suppose, it being an issue.
I think the fashion industry has a very big role to play. It has a huge voice, and the voice can be adapted. It's about time it did change. We need to give a better message to women of all ages, all sizes and all nationalities. We need to allow women to feel comfortable in who they are.
I think it's a big subject about how women are portrayed through imagery in fashion. That is where we need to be really careful with the images that we produce, I suppose. And it's just something that empowers women instead of making them look weaker and more fragile. And I think that's something that we all need to be conscious about.
What are your hopes and dreams for gender equality?
I think the idea of gender equality starts from day one. I grew up with a twin sister and she's a huge part of my life. She's my best friend. We've gone through every stage of our lives together. I'd like to think that the world is evolving into a place where your sex isn't going to limit you in any way, shape or form.
The more people in general are treated with respect and fairness, then the imbalance between men and women will naturally be addressed.
I have big hopes for gender equality in the fashion industry. I think it's really improving. I've seen some very positive steps towards equality in the industry, but I think there's still a lot of racism. I think there's still a lot of sexism. I'd really, really love to see a more diverse representation of women and men in any way that makes them feel empowered. I'm very interested, and I know that Vogue is very interested to hear what you have to say about gender equality.
We're at the Next Model HQ. So I'm working with British Vogue to do a series that takes a closer look at fashion. I think it's important that we make a film which is an accurate representation of fashion as it stands now and where it's going in the future.
Can we do a zoom on this